So welcome back, everyone. My next guest has been on with me once before, a couple times before. I have with me Jeff King, and he's the owner of Maverick Water Systems. Welcome back to the show, I should say it that way. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We'll share the show later on. Hey, I really want to talk about what Doc just asked you, okay? Because he was leaving, and yeah, I want you to get right up on that mic so everybody can hear you. He said, what can I take away that is the best thing about your water system? And you said what?
Well, there's more than one, but if I had to pick one, we're the only true one and done system that's on the market. And what that means is when a customer buys our product, we install it into your home, you're completely done. You're done changing filters, there's no maintenance, and most importantly, you're done spending money.
You're done spending money. When you work with people, you have to come in and it's a whole home thing, right?
Correct.
So explain how that works, okay?
You bet. So we do free in-home consultations. We come out, we test your water, we do a site evaluation. We have to figure out obviously how we have to plumb it into your home properly so that you have clean, filtered, and treated water out of every tap, every faucet, even the toilets are going to have clean, filtered water that you literally could drink going to them.
That's pretty awesome. I want to talk to you about this special that you're offering. And this is going to be going on till when? The end of October?
Till the end of October.
Okay. Now you've got a special that is $800 off any whole house water system until the end of October. I want you to write this number down. That's 602-921-3008. You can go up onto his website. It's MaverickH2O.com. And if you tell them that you just the code is Networking Arizona, so it's pretty simple, that you'll get that free, not only will you get a free water testing for your home, you're going to get $800 off the whole house water treatment system. Okay. When you come in and you're getting a whole house and you're saying it's going to be everywhere, how long does this take? You know, when you start doing the system, the work on everything?
Well, I mean, the consultation itself really depends on how many questions a customer has. I mean, it could be as short as 30 minutes, it could be as long as 60 minutes. After that, if a customer decides they want to move forward with us, we actually build their system for them because we actually manufacture the systems right here in Goodyear, so right in the valley, so it's locally made. And then after that, one of our licensed, bonded, and insured plumbers come out and they install it.
So, and it's within like a day?
Well, the installation usually takes anywhere between 3 to 4 hours. If we have to do an outdoor install, some of the older homes we actually have to do an outdoor install. They can take a little bit longer, especially in the summer when it's 115 degrees outside.
Now you said that everything is made in the USA.
Correct.
So that's pretty cool. I want to ask you why it's so important to have a system like this.
Reason being, we obviously live in the desert in the southwest here. Water and desert are kind of like water and oil. A lot of our water comes out of the ground, so it has a lot of minerals in it. That's what makes it hard, first of all. But not all of these minerals are good for our body, so there's a lot of heavy metals that we find in the water, as well as farming, as an example, has taken place over the past 100 years in the valley as well as Tucson, and so you get a lot of herbicides, pesticides, biological contaminants that we find in trace amounts in our water. And obviously if we're going to use our water not just to drink, but we're showering, we're bathing, we're washing our clothes and our dishes in it, we don't want those things in it any longer.
So it makes your skin nice and smooth.
Correct.
Silky smooth.
Yes.
And your hair?
Your hair is going to feel a lot better. I mean, the biggest proponent, especially here in the southwest because it gets so gosh darn hot in the summer, is they have to put a lot of chlorine in the water, especially during the summer months. So what gives your skin and your hair that dry feeling? The biggest proponent is just the chlorine that's in the water. So once the chlorine's taken out, your skin, your hair is going to feel a lot better just by removing just that one of many chemicals that we can find in the water at any given time.
Can you drink the water?
The water after our system is installed, you can drink it everywhere in your home. I always joke with people, if you have a dog and it drinks out of the toilet bowl, it's going to be drinking clean, filtered water.
Wow. So this is what he has as a special for everybody that's listening. Now until the end of October, it's $800 off any whole house water treatment system. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. The areas that you work in is Maricopa, Pinal, and Pima counties.
Correct.
Also, you do free in-home water It's a test and a quote. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. The phone number is 602-921-3008. The website is Maverick, H2O.com. And I personally think that, water is so important.
Absolutely.
And it's so, we all know how hard our water is and how yucky it is, really. So almost every house, does it matter how old your house is or anything like that? Let's talk about what it looks like when you come into some of these older homes and what you can do for them.
Newer homes today are actually built with water softeners and water treatment systems in mind. So it makes our job a lot easier. When we're going into homes that, are generally 1960s or older, they just weren't necessarily, built with that idea in mind. As an example, the main water line comes in right at the front door in some of these houses. So obviously when we're installing a system, we have to work off of the main water line that's coming into the home. You don't want a water treatment system sitting next to your front door. So we have to trench, we have to take it into the backyard. So that's where those jobs become a little bit more complicated, nothing out of our realm and what we can handle. But that's why I said, some of those installs, they may take 5-6 hours to do versus 3 or 4.
But you also say that once you buy one, that's it. You're not putting any money at all into this again, never. And that it's built. You build these systems for each home. It sounds like they're custom made.
So we have custom options as well. As an example, we don't just service city water, we do well applications as well. So for people on well water, their own wells, if they have a well water report, we can take a look at it, because sometimes, when you're on city water, the EPA, it monitors. There's certain mandates that water utility companies have to follow, whether it's arsenic, lead levels, things like this. When you're on your own well, you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder and making sure that the water is kept below EPA standards or minimals. So if a well report's provided and we see as an example that perhaps arsenic or lead is way above what you would ever get on city water, we have additional filtration that can, we can build a system custom for that situation, so it's going to handle that particular customer's water.
So when you're getting this, you're getting a custom-made, pretty much custom-made.
Correct.
What would you say would make you different than any of your other competitors out there?
Well, the biggest thing is we are, as an example, are the only system on the market that at the main unit will remove arsenic 3 and arsenic 5 from the water. Which
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't realize, but there is arsenic in our water.
Unfortunately, in the Midwest, in the Southwest here, especially Arizona, there's arsenic in our water because it's a natural occurring element in our soil, as well as something called hexavalent chromium, which is chromium-6. If you've ever seen the movie Aaron Brockovich, the entire movie is based on hexavalent chromium. The levels of hexavalent chromium are actually in some of the highest levels in North America, right here in Phoenix, in what I call the I-17 corridor, basically Chase Field downtown, all the way up to Anthem, and about 2 to 3 miles on either side of I-17. Kind of where we are right now, are basically the highest.
Can't wait to have a glass of water.
Yeah, the highest levels of hexavalent chromium, and then, areas of Chandler, areas of Tucson, the West Valley, East Valley, kind of pockets. It gets higher, it gets lower, but regardless, when you actually look up hexavalent chromium, there is no minimum standard from the EPA because it's not good for you. It's a carcinogen, it can cause cancer. So you definitely do not want that in your water if you're going to be drinking. Our systems will take that out of the water without the use of reverse osmosis. And we make and we sell a reverse osmosis system, but it's really only for people on their own wells where their water is just really off the charts, not good. You don't need it if you're on city water with any of our systems, for the simple fact that we're taking out arsenic and hexavalent chromium, whereas that's what other companies are missing, and that is why they're going to give you the reverse osmosis system. And the problem with that is it's going to continue to cost you money every single year.
I think the best thing to do is to have them come in and do a free in-home water test. I'd want to have my water tested, and you get a quote right there. His phone number is 602-921-3008. The website is Maverick, H2O.com. The areas that he services is Maricopa, Pinal, and Pima County. It is a free in-home, we said, a water test and a quote. If you tell them that you heard it on Networking Arizona, till the end of October, you're getting $800 off any whole house water treatment system. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, licensed, bonded, and insured. And I think what really makes a difference more right there, once you buy it, it's a one and done.
Correct.
You said it's one and done, you do not pay any more money any other time. And what's really great is they're taking out all of the bad stuff. And so many people who are, they're drinking, they do drink it.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, and they don't even know the difference. I think they just started off that way and they just don't know the difference. But it's not good for you. Also, how about your animals? That's huge. I want to talk about that when we get back.
Correct.
Because you think about that, and a lot of people just are taking the hose or taking that water out
Right
of the
into
sink
the doggy dish.
and into the doggy dish. And folks, you can hear it right now. It's just really not a good idea. So call them and tell them that you heard it on Networking Arizona. You're getting $800 off. That number to call is 602-921-3008. It's MaverickH2O.com. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute. So we're talking a lot fast, okay?
Yeah.
So I want to come back in and kind of maybe try and go more narrow and deep.
Sure.
I like that you're talking about the water. I
Okay.
like that you're talking about what's in it, you know,
Yeah.
all of that, and how carcinogenic
Yeah.
and all that. That's why when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the animals.
Sure.
You know, because that might hit them in the heart.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Because I think I've gotten to a lot of it already, and I'd like to go. For you, when you come in, when you do this test,
Yep.
and that's another thing I want to do. What does it look like when you do a test?
Sure.
What do you do? Tell me now.
Okay, so we come in, we're going to test your water for hardness, we're going to figure out exactly how hard your water is, we're going to test it for chlorine. Those are the only two things you can really test for. Everything else I'm talking about has to be done at a lab.
So
It's
do you
actual
do that?
chemistry, so no, because
Okay.
we're in the house, so
Right.
we don't bring a
No.
laboratory with us.
No.
So those
You
are the
don't
two
take a
things.
little of the water and go.
But there is so what we show the customer is that, nobody knows this, there's a completely free website. It's called ewg.org, and it's a watchdog group to the EPA. And so just passed federal court in California last week, fluoride in water. It's now federally going to be mandated because they've decided and realized that yes, enough evidence is showing that yes, it can diminish the IQ in children, it can cause cancer, and there's not enough positive information to show for teeth where that outweighs the cancer effects it could have.
Oh, wow.
So now fluoride is going to be heavily monitored as to what amounts are going
Do you want to
into our
talk
water.
about that? Not
I mean,
really.
we can, it's kind
I'm
of a
gonna
touchy
talk about the dogs
subject,
better,
but
yeah.
it's more to keep it, that's something we do. Because at the end of the day, if the wrong person's listening.
No, it's okay, don't worry
just
about it. I want to
all
talk about the
conspiracy
dogs and the
theories
animals and,
yeah.
you know, okay.
The other thing, and I was just going to get into it with the reverse osmosis, if we touch a bit back on that, is that when you have reverse osmosis, you only have drinking water out of one location. You're not brushing your teeth with that, you're brushing it in the bathroom with water that hasn't properly been treated. You know, you're not getting your ice from there, you're getting it from the fridge, which hasn't properly been. With our system, it all is
I'm
properly
gonna talk
treated.
about that. So welcome back, everyone. We're talking about water, and we're talking about the water that you're probably drinking, the water that you probably are giving to your animals, and these are what you call a whole house, a whole home, a house, a water system.
We refer to them as whole house water treatment systems,
Okay.
but what we're actually doing is we're handling the hard water, but we're also filtering it so that you have clean filtered drinking water out of every tap, every faucet, every shower head, every bathtub, every toilet in the home.
And once you get it, You don't have to put any more money into that
That's
whatsoever.
correct.
It's a one and done, that's what they say. Their phone number is 602-921-3008. Maverick, H2O.com. They service Maricopa, Pinal and Pima County, and it's a free in-home water test that you're gonna get along with the quote. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. They're offering $800 off any whole house water treatment system. All you have to do is tell them that you heard it on Networking Arizona, and that's through the end of October. The procrastinators out there, do me a favor, don't just put it on your refrigerator and say, oh yeah. You know, give them a call. If you're interested in something like this, give them a call and have them, take a look.
Costs you absolutely nothing other than maybe 30, 45 minutes of your time if you have a lot of questions.
I have a lot of questions,
Sure.
okay? So because what is in water that could hurt an animal? Like, it's the same thing as a human.
Well, I mean, animals are mammals the same as us. Our
Mhm.
dogs are cats. I mean, they have lungs, they have a digestive system, they have stomachs. So along the same lines, I mean, I'm not a veterinarian and I'm not a doctor, but at the end of the day, people have dogs and they get cancer.
You
and they
spend
have-
so much money on the food to get delivered,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
You really ought to make sure that you're giving them water that is safe, right? And that's the most, and the other thing that you said at the break, you were telling me that people think, we're gonna talk a little bit about the H2O, the reverse osmosis. Because, folks, when you get a reverse osmosis, that's in your kitchen,
It's in your
right?
kitchen, it's installed under your sink, so it takes up most of the, your storage space under the sink, which can be a nuisance. But aside from that, you now only have drinkable water out of that one location. Well, most people do not brush their teeth at the kitchen sink. If you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're thirsty and your glass next to your bed is empty, you just go to the bathroom, you're gonna fill it up there. Well, that's not gonna be fully treated water with other products that you're gonna find on the market. With ours, it is. So aside from not having to buy filters every year for a reverse osmosis system and saving yourself hundreds of dollars a year and thousands over the lifetime of the system, it's important to understand that we don't just drink the water. We shower in it, and our biggest organ in our body is our skin, and it's porous. The same way we get hot and sweaty in the summer, it can absorb herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers, heavy metals. Some of this stuff can actually get absorbed and make its way into our bloodstream through the skin.
Well, wait a minute, what about when you're cooking? Because if you don't have this,
Well, here's another
think
thing.
about that.
So not so much in the summer, but now that winter's coming, the temperatures get cooler, we start taking warmer showers. Well, if that warm shower starts to steam and you're breathing this stuff in, if it still has herbicides and pesticides in the water, and if those things have not been taken out properly, you're bathing in it, you're now breathing this stuff in. So it goes a lot further than just the water we drink. I mean, most people drink, or we're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day. That's approximately 1 gallon of water a day. If you take a 10-minute shower, that's roughly 20 to 25 gallons of water hitting the biggest surface on your body, which is porous. It has pores. You want to be taking the stuff that's in our water out.
You mentioned that it also will be in your toilets.
Correct.
Okay, I just gotta ask, why would somebody say, well, that's really cool, I'm glad it's there?
Well, it's going to help. I mean, most people, especially in Arizona, have found the little red rings around their toilet or the little yellow rings. That's coming from iron deposits. Iron still being in the water, our system's going to remove that, so you're not going to get those rings in the toilet. Our systems have a sediment media inside of it, so we're going to be removing sediment, including microplastics, out of the water. So you're not going to, if you go on vacation for a month, or maybe you're a snowbird and you go away for a few months, during the summer months, come back and you see kind of almost, it's like a little child dropped a little bit of their sandbox into the bottom of the toilet. You're not going to see that once our systems are installed.
These are whole house water treatment systems. He's got a special for the people that are listening that say that they heard it on Networking Arizona, that you're going to get $800 off. They are licensed, bonded, and insured. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They do free in-home water tests, and you get a quote right there. They work with Maricopa, Pima, and Pinal counties. And the phone number to call is 602-921-3008, Maverick, H2O.com. I'm gonna ask you, I have to ask you
Okay.
this question, you're sitting here this whole time. Obviously, you have it.
Correct.
His skin is unbelievable.
Oh, thank you.
When you're talking about this, you can really see how moisturized it is, you know what I mean? And I'm seeing it, well, I say all over, not all over,
Well, here's an example I always give people. And people at home, they can do this themselves. If you have a pool, you can go to any Fry's, Walmart, you can go on Amazon, and Clorox is a company that makes the chlorine testing equipment, or any other company. And it's called OTO, so letter O, letter T, letter O. And usually they're $4.99 or $5.99 a little bottle, and you use it to test chlorine, whether there's chlorine. So if you actually, in around July and August, even September this year, because the heat's hanging on here, and you actually were to test how much water is coming out of your tap versus how much chlorine is in the water being delivered, whether it's by the city, the county, wherever you get your water from. Test how much chlorine is in that versus how much is in your swimming pool. It's going to be pretty darn close at that time of the year. Now during the winter it gets cooler, so they don't have to put as much chlorine in the water. But it's going to get pretty darn close, especially July, August into September. Now just imagine, if you're going for a swim, you finish swimming, the first thing you do is go and rinse off, because if you don't, your skin feels dry and itchy, your hair feels like it's got a film in it. Well, if the chlorine is causing that in the pool, the chlorine coming out of the tap is going to cause that feeling as well. So that's why I was mentioning when we were off air that the biggest proponent that makes your skin feel dry in our water, especially here in the south, and our hair, is the chlorine. By removing that and showering in water that doesn't have the chlorine, you're going to feel, a lot better.
So, a person that's going to do this, it's for health reasons?
At the end of the day, it's for everything. Especially, let's face it, a lot of people, with our population the way it is now, most people in Arizona are no longer born and raised here. They're from somewhere else. So we get a lot of clients, moving from the Midwest, which has hard water, but not to the extent we get here. We have a lot of clients that are moving down from the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Portland, even Northern California. And they've never dealt with water like this. They'll tell us we turn on our tap and we can smell the chlorine. There's so much in it. So yeah, health is, for most people, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? So health should be number one reason. But just the comfort of having a shower and not having dry, itchy skin after, hair that doesn't feel, like straw, that as well.
Well, when you think about it too, getting those reverse osmosis, they cost money monthly, right? You have to change them all the time, I think. And this is something that not only will just be in your kitchen, right? It's everywhere.
This is everywhere. So most newer homes are built with what's called a water softener loop. It just hooks right up to that loop right in the garage. Older homes, it just depends where the water comes in. Sometimes we can still install it right in the garage. Sometimes we have to do it outdoors. It'll always be in the backyard or behind the wall where it doesn't become an eyesore for your neighbors or anything like that. But the big thing is that you're going to have clean filtered water as well as soft water. We're going to handle the hard water situation throughout the entire home. And it's important that I mention as well, so we don't just manufacture a salt water softener, we also have a no salt system as well. We sell them for the same price. They do slightly different things to the water hardness, which we probably don't have enough time to go into today, but a lot of people are now wanting no salt systems. So we build a no salt system, and we also build a salt system, and they sell for the exact same price.
But they have that choice.
They have that choice.
What is the difference?
So salt systems remove calcium and magnesium from water. That's what makes your water hard. That's what makes them a water softener. No salt systems are called water conditioners because what they do is they condition the calcium and magnesium. They do not remove it.
And what about the laundry? Is it always much nicer to your clothes?
Absolutely. It's a lot less harsh on your clothes.
And you know what? This is a one and done thing. Once you do it, you're not paying any more money ever again. That phone number to call them is 602-921-3007. You can check them out on their website. It's Maverick, H2O.com. They do service Maricopa, Pinal, and Pima County. And if you tell them that you heard it on Networking Arizona, you're getting $800 off any whole house water treatment system. They do free in-home water tests and quotes. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they're licensed, bonded, and insured.
Thanks so much for having me.